Of her, my life took an unexpected turn. I had a plan for my life, a clear, structured path, one I had followed without question for years. Work hard, stay focused, build a future without distractions. I wasn't the kind of man who believed in detours. And then she happened. She wasn't part of the plan. She wasn't someone I was looking for, nor someone I thought I needed. But from the moment she entered my world, everything began to shift. Suddenly, the life I had mapped out didn't seem so certain anymore, because now there was her. And nothing made sense the way it once had. At first I resisted it, told myself she was just a passing moment, a distraction I would eventually move past. But the truth was, she wasn't something to move past, she was something to move toward. Because she made me feel something I never had before, the desire to live, not just exist. Because of her, I started questioning everything. The choices I had made, the dreams I thought I wanted, the version of myself I had been so certain was the right one. And for the first time, I wondered, what if the life I planned isn't the life I was meant to live? She changed me. Not by force, not by asking me to, but simply by being who she was. And now, as I stand at the edge of something unknown, something that wasn't part of the life I once imagined, I realize I'm not afraid, because if she is the reason for this unexpected turn, then maybe it's exactly where I'm meant to be. At first I thought it was temporary, that this shift in my life was just a phase, something that would eventually pass, but it didn't. Because she wasn't a phase, she was a turning point, and there was no going back to who I was before her. I had spent years believing I knew what I wanted, that my path was set, that nothing could shake my focus. But then she came along with her fire, her passion, her way of seeing the world differently. And suddenly everything I once believed felt too small, too predictable, too safe. You don't have to follow the same path just because it's the one you started on, she told me one night. I looked at her, confused. But what else is there? She smiled, as if the answer was obvious. Everything. And that's when I realized she wasn't just changing my life, she was expanding it, making me see that the world was bigger than the narrow road I had convinced myself was the only way forward. That love, passion, and risk weren't distractions, they were the things that made life worth living. Because of her, I stopped walking the path I thought I had to take, and I started running toward the one I truly wanted. Where it leads, I don't know yet. But for the first time, I'm okay with that. Because if she is beside me, then wherever we go, it's exactly where I'm meant to be. Change is a strange thing. It doesn't always happen in a single moment. Sometimes it's slow, a quiet shift, a realization creeping in piece by piece, until one day you look back and realize you're not the same person you used to be. And for me, that change had a name, her. Because of her, I learned to see beyond the life I had built for myself, to question the rules I once followed without hesitation, to embrace the idea that certainty isn't the only way to live, that sometimes the unexpected path is the one that leads to something greater. I used to fear the unknown, now I crave it. Because every day with her is unpredictable, and yet it feels more certain than anything I've ever known. She challenges me, pushes me, teaches me that life isn't just about following a straight road, it's about making your own. I never thought I would let go of my old plans, that I would walk away from the life I spent years constructing. But because of her, I did, not out of recklessness. Not because she asked me to, but because she made me realize there was more waiting for me than I had ever dared to dream. And now, as I stand at the edge of something new, something I never saw coming, I don't hesitate. I don't look back. I take her hand and together we step forward. Because this is no longer just my journey, it's ours. I used to believe my life had already been decided, that the choices I made long ago had locked me into a future I couldn't change. But then she came along, and suddenly the life I had been so certain of didn't feel like the one I wanted anymore. Because of her, I started asking myself questions I never dared to before. What if I want something different? What if the life I built isn't the one meant for me? What if I've been afraid of taking a risk because I never had a reason to before? But now I had one, and it was her. She never told me to change, never asked me to let go of the things I once held on to so tightly. All she did was show me another way to live, a life where passion mattered more than routine, where happiness wasn't something to be scheduled, it was something to be felt every single day. I look at her now, and I know this unexpected turn my life has taken. It's not a mistake. It's not something to fear. It's the best thing that has ever happened to me. And no matter where it leads, one thing is certain. I will never go back to the life I had before her. This is where I was always meant to be. The life I once knew feels like a distant memory now. Not because it wasn't real, but because it no longer fits the person I've become. And all of it, every shift, every change, every choice, I never thought I would make happen because of her. She didn't ask me to abandon the life I had built. She didn't force me to question everything I thought I wanted. She simply existed, and in doing so, she showed me what I had been missing. I used to believe that stability was the only thing that mattered, that life was about sticking to the plan, staying on course, avoiding risks. But she made me see that sometimes the greatest things happen when you take a leap into the unknown. That happiness isn't found in certainty, it's found in the moments where you dare to follow your heart. Because of her, I let go of the fear of failure. I stopped holding on to things that no longer served me. I learned that change isn't something to be afraid of. It's something to embrace. And now, as I stand in this new life, this new path that I never could have predicted, I realize I wouldn't trade it for anything. Because if this was the unexpected turn I was meant to take, then I am grateful, because it led me to her. Looking back, I can hardly recognize the person I used to be. So rigid, so certain of what life was supposed to be. But now, I know that certainty was nothing more than a cage I had built for myself. And she was the key that set me free. Because of her, I learned that life isn't just about structure and routine. It's about feeling. It's about taking chances, stepping into the unknown, and allowing yourself to be transformed. She didn't just change my life, she awakened something inside me, a part of me I never knew existed. I used to think I had everything figured out, but she taught me that real happiness isn't found in control, it's found in surrender, in allowing yourself to embrace the unpredictable, to love with your whole heart, without hesitation, to live in a way that makes you excited to wake up every morning. Because of her, my life took a turn I never expected, but now I know the truth. This wasn't just a change, it was fate, and I wouldn't go back for anything, because this life, this love, was always meant to be mine. I used to think I knew exactly where my life was headed, a straight road, carefully planned, no detours, no second guessing. But then she appeared, and suddenly, everything I thought I wanted no longer felt enough. Because of her, my life took a turn I never saw coming, and now there's no going back. She didn't just walk into my world, she rewrote it. The way I saw things, the way I measured happiness, the way I defined love. I had been living in a way that made sense but never truly made me feel alive. And now I can't imagine going back to a life where she doesn't exist. Because of her, I started believing in things I never dared to before. Spontaneity, passion, the idea that love isn't just a feeling, it's a force. Something that can shake the ground beneath you, yet somehow make you feel steadier than ever. something that makes you want to risk everything, because suddenly there's something worth risking it for. I don't regret the life I had before her, but I know with certainty that it was never meant to last, because this unpredictable, beautiful, chaotic love, this is what I was always meant to find. And if I had to take 1,000 unexpected turns to get here, I would do it all over again. I never expected my life to change so drastically. I thought I had it all figured out, my goals, my future, the path I was meant to take. But then she entered my world, and suddenly everything shifted. Because of her, I was no longer the same person. Because of her, my life took an unexpected turn. She didn't force me to change. She didn't demand anything from me. She just was. And somehow, that was enough to make me see things differently, to question everything I thought I knew, to realize that maybe, just maybe, the life I had planned wasn't the life I was meant to live. She made me see that life isn't just about playing it safe, that sometimes the best things happen when you take a step into the unknown, that love, real love, isn't something you plan for, it finds you, and when it does, it changes everything. Because of her, I let go of the fear of what comes next. I stopped looking at my life as a series of steps to follow and started seeing it as a journey to be lived, with passion, with purpose, and most importantly with her. I don't know what the future holds anymore, but for the first time, that doesn't scare me, because if she is the reason my life changed, then I know, without a doubt, it changed for the better. I used to think life was predictable, that if I followed the path set before me, nothing could go wrong. But then she came into my world, and suddenly everything felt uncertain and yet more right than it ever had before. Because of her, my life took a turn I never expected. And now I can't imagine it any other way. She wasn't part of the plan. I wasn't looking for love, wasn't searching for something to shake the foundation of what I had built. But she didn't just shake it, she shattered it. Not in a way that left me lost, but in a way that finally made me see that I had been living half a life, chasing things that never truly made me happy. She made me question everything, not by asking me to change, not by pulling me away from my goals, but simply by existing, by showing me that there was more out there than the life I thought I wanted. That passion, that connection, that love aren't distractions. They are the very things that make life worth living. Because of her, I stopped running toward a future that wasn't meant for me. I stopped living by expectations and started following what felt real. She didn't just change my path, she became the reason I wanted a new one. And now, as I stand in this new life, this new version of myself, I realize I was never meant to stay where I was. I was meant to find her, and because I did, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. Darling, you can't pressure me to divorce my wife. I knew this conversation was coming. I saw it in the way she looked at me last night, the way her words lingered on the edge of something unspoken. And now, here we are. She's standing in front of me, waiting for an answer she already knows she won't like. But there are some things that can't be said softly, some truths that can't be dressed up to make them easier to hear. So I take a deep breath, steady my voice, and say the words that need to be said. Darling, you can't pressure me to divorce my wife. She knew what this was from the beginning. I never lied to her, never pretended to be a man who was free, who had no ties, no responsibilities. From the very first moment, she knew the truth. I have a wife, a life, a marriage that may not be perfect, but one that I am not willing to throw away. Not for passion, not for temptation, not even for the feelings that have grown between us. She thinks I'm being a coward. I can see it in her eyes, the frustration, the disappointment, the belief that I am choosing comfort over love. She doesn't understand. She thinks if I truly cared for her, this would be simple. That love should be enough to burn everything down and start over. But life doesn't work that way. And love, as powerful as it is, does not erase the past. It does not undo vows spoken in faith. It does not justify the destruction of a family. I can't give her what she wants. She wants an answer that changes everything. A promise that I will walk away from my wife, from the life I built, and choose her instead. But I won't, because love built on betrayal is never strong enough to last. Because no matter how much I care for her, I will not rewrite my future in a way that leaves nothing but broken hearts behind.